Consistency has a strange reputation. Everyone agrees it matters. Everyone says it's important. But when you actually practice it, it rarely feels meaningful. Most of the time, it feels like nothing. We expect consistency to feel like progress, like momentum, like forward motion, like something adding up in a visible way. But consistency doesn't feel like change. It feels like repetition. You do the same thing today, you do it again tomorrow, and then again. From the outside, nothing changes. From the inside, it feels dull. And that's where people get confused. Consistency works at a level of systems, not outcomes. Outcomes are loud. Systems are quiet. Outcomes announce themselves. Systems operate in the background. When you're consistent, what's changing first isn't the result. It's the structure underneath the result. Your routines stabilize. Your defaults shift. Your resistance lowers. But none of that looks impressive yet. Most people treat consistency like a tool, something you use to get an outcome. But consistency isn't a tool, it's a condition, the environment in which change becomes possible. And environments don't feel productive, they feel neutral. In the early stages of consistency, you're not improving outcomes, you're removing volatility. You're reducing randomness. You're smoothing fluctuations. You're eliminating extremes. That doesn't feel like progress, it feels like stagnation. But what's actually happening is stabilization. And stabilization comes before improvement. There's a moment, usually unnoticed, when consistency stops being something you do and starts being something you are. You don't debate anymore. You don't negotiate with yourself. You don't rely on motivation. You just act. That shift doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with silence. And silence is easy to misinterpret as failure. Consistency removes novelty, and novelty is what the brain uses to mark significance. So when something becomes routine, the brain stops celebrating it. Not because it doesn't matter, but because it's no longer uncertain. Consistency trades excitement for reliability, and reliability doesn't feel rewarding. It feels normal. Most of consistency happens in the long middle, not the exciting part, not the visible payoff, the middle, where nothing seems to change, but everything is being set. This is where people stop, not because they can't continue, but because they can't see a reason to. Before you see better outcomes, you see less friction, faster recovery, fewer internal arguments, more automatic behavior. Those are identity signals. They mean you're no longer forcing the behavior. The behavior is becoming default. But defaults don't feel like effort. They feel like nothing. When consistency looks like nothing, quitting feels reasonable. After all, you're not seeing results, you're not feeling different, you're not getting feedback. So stopping feels like cutting losses. But what you're actually cutting is the system right before it finishes forming. The payoff of consistency isn't immediate success. It's inevitability. Once something becomes part of who you are, the outcome starts being a question of if, only when. That's not dramatic. It's dependable. And dependability is invisible until it isn't. If consistency feels like nothing right now, that doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means the work has moved beneath the surface. You're no longer changing outcomes, you're changing defaults. And defaults shape everything. Consistency feels like nothing because identity changes quietly. By the time the results arrive, the hardest part is already over. Not because it was intense, but because it was invisible. And what feels invisible now is often what ends up lasting the longest.